Hey, good evening. It's 9:04 p.m. It is the end of Christmas. I remember when I was younger and the evening was coming close, and my dad would say, "Oh, he would say that it was such a sad feeling because it was all over with. The big build up for Christmas." Because he was someone who was really excited about Christmas. He was very creative. He would, decorate the house and make it look really nice in the inside with different, like, with anything. Like, if he saw, like, a tablecloth, he would cut that tablecloth and make something out of it. He was just really, really clever. I used to think, man, is there anything he can't do? So Christmas was a big deal for him, I guess, when he was younger, growing up. In poverty, I guess. You know, I think a lot of kids who grow up poor, it kind of is to their advantage because it gives them the ability to be more creative. I guess they kind of have to be. You make a lot of not compromises, but you improvise a lot. When you are. You don't have as much. I guess you come up with clever little ways of doing things. But yeah, the holidays when I was a kid was really great. I was watching a video earlier this evening. I don't remember the person's name, but she's basically kind of in the same situation as I am. She's the family scapegoat. I'm not exactly sure why she's a family scapegoat. Is it because she's a blood relative of these people and they just mistreat her, or is she like in a situation like me where she's adopted and they're doing this? Whatever the case is, she's the person where everybody dumps everything on them. She's a person that nobody likes in the family. And, she was talking about, spending the holidays alone. And I know there were times, of course, I used to go over to my family's house, but I did notice a lot of times, that my family didn't really seem happy to see me. And there was a lot of fakeness. Like, they would hug me. And of course, they always compliment you on the very thing that they hate about you. Whether that be like your parents, oh, you look great, but in they're sitting around telling people, oh, she's doing this and she's doing that and whatever. I got really tired of that. But, I know that after a while, the reason why I didn't go over to my family's house for the holidays, I would say in the late 2000s, or yeah, mid 2000s, like late mid 2000s. No, not sorry, I shouldn't even say that. I would say like around 2011 and onward. I was going over their house like sporadically. Like maybe I would go over there for the holiday one year and then skip like 4 years and head over there. It was very, mainly it was because I was dealing with a lot of bullshit at work. It's always been work, okay? And I didn't know that work and my family was connected at the time. And I was always like worried. And when I get worried, and this is how I am like right now, until I make money, I'm not doing shit. I don't do anything. I don't function. I have to make sure that everything is okay in my life before I feel 100 to do anything, right? And because it was problems in my work, I didn't really feel like going over there. But when I did go over there, it was always like, my sister Lisa would roll her eyes, and then Tanya would sit there and give me these side glances and all this other shit. So, you don't feel comfortable there. I noticed that in like workplace mobbing situations, and where like working for an employer and they're they try to turn it around on you. They're like, well, you just kind of seem standoffish, or they want you to participate in like their little stupid activities, and you're always dealing with their rude behavior, and you're always dealing with the side eyeball, and the rude comments, and then they expect you to sit here and socialize with a bunch of people that are talking shit about you, right? So it's like it never occurs to them that they're the ones who are causing the problem. It's so arrogant on their part. But then a lot of it is just the fact that they dehumanize you. They literally do not think. And goes for the employers that I worked for, as well as like, the family members, my ex-family members, my adoptive family, that sort of behavior. they're under a mind control program. They're acting out, their bullshit. They're creating their toxicity, and then they always try to make it like, oh well, you don't want to be our friend. It's so warped. I mean, that's just another part of how demonic it is, because it's like you're dealing with people. You can't make them look at common sense, or you can't make them think properly, and it's very frustrating. So when you're the one who's always like the outcast, right? It's just like built in the system. You're going to deal with people who make you feel uncomfortable, and you would just prefer to be by yourself. And this is how I choose to spend my holiday. I was surprised. Today was not a bad day. Like, I got up early this morning, and I was like, oh, I was pissed off because, I had mentioned that I was trying to make decisions and plans for myself by, starting up a Patreon channel in October. And, it's very difficult to advertise on Facebook when they're manning Facebook, and they got all these people being fake and shit. They control your social media, so you can't do anything. And then, it's very difficult to do anything in this, little entourage that I'm in, or forced to be in, right? So, where was I going with this? Yeah, I was pretty upset yesterday. So I kept thinking, I wasn't really into the Christmas spirit because obviously, I don't have any money, and I just, my unemployment ran out. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, what am I going to do? And so this morning I kept thinking, I'm just going to baby myself. I'm just going to like totally baby myself, cater to my inner child, I guess you could say. So I decided to sit back and watch some cartoons. Now I checked out SpongeBob, some of the older episodes of SpongeBob. My son had made me aware that there are newer episodes of SpongeBob, but I'm going to get to those later. I'm just going to, take my time, and then eventually I'll get to those newer episodes. But then I also watched Garfield and Friends, and they had I used to watch that show on Saturday mornings when I was in high school, and I never realized how clever that cartoon was. It's cute, and I like the other cartoon that they show with the Garfield and Friends, which is like the U.S. Acres. I've always liked those cartoons, so I watched those pretty much all day, and I just sat back and watched it. I didn't turn on any Christmas music like I usually do during the holidays or anything. I just did not feel like, making it all Christmas-like. Of course, I spent time with my son today. He made the food, which I do appreciate it, because I wasn't in the holiday spirit at all. I wanted to make like chocolate dip pretzels, but that didn't work out because, of course I got in the holiday spirit late. By the time I got to Walmart, I couldn't find any like bags of pretzels because I wanted to dip chocolate pretzels. That didn't work out. So, it wasn't a bad day though. It really wasn't. And enjoyed that person's video because it is difficult. People don't understand when you are dealing with, especially in my situation where I was being targeted by high, I don't want to say high class people, but people who are in positions of authority, or maybe they made themselves out to be in positions of authority. I do know that there was like this big head honcho, I'm not going to mention who it is, but who created problems for me, trying to, I don't know, I don't want to go into it, but people were under mind control for a very, very long time. And they were targeting me, making me look like I was a problem, like I was this terrible person. And it makes me sick to my stomach to think that I had, like, you can be put in a family, right? And you could have, these fake siblings that aren't really your blood, okay? But they never tell you that you're adopted. They never, you're not getting treated quite right, right? But at the same time, you're adopted, and they're telling, they get their friends to gang up on you, or you're around their friends, and all they do is like use you as a source of gossip, and they see that you're going through a targeting program, and they just turn their back on you. Like the last time I saw my ex sister Lisa, she acted like, I had no right to be angry, blah, 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 blah. I was trying to figure out, I was asking her point blank, are you behind this issue with my employment? Because something is really going on. And, the fact that it's such a covert programs, like she knew with this, that it was tearing me up inside, but that was okay with her. Because the thing is that you're in a fake family that doesn't give a shit about you. And I'm thinking, how is it that you can watch this, what I look at as a sacrifice? How could you watch this being carried out? And this is what makes me sick. This is what makes me so that, and other people, they don't understand that. They don't understand, like, what the fuck? Like, why would you even think that somebody would want to ever see you again? It's deep. Like when you go through these programs, you are literally cut off from everyone. You know what I mean? And you're being persecuted. You have absolutely no idea why. I just thought my family just didn't resented me because they knew that like I mentioned, I did smoke marijuana a lot when I was in the 90s. And I'm not making excuses for it, but, people didn't generally start looking into ways of modifying their moods, especially when it's always a bad mood, right? They might drink a lot, some people eat a lot, some people act out in other ways. I will say in the 90s, I was very, very, very depressed. Extremely depressed. And I remember working over my first job over at Edwards Air Force Base. It wasn't my first job, but it was like my first accounting job that led to all my other jobs. I didn't realize that the bullying that was going on in the workplace, that my family was like completely aware of it and all this other stuff. And when I remember going over to their house back then, it was always, it was starting to become that way, more and more and more and more, So the holidays just got to be something I started to dread, and it's so barbaric is how I look at it. It's like it's barbaric because, you're this person that they see every day. They are judging you. Everybody makes mistakes when they're a kid, right? When you're younger, you make mistakes, but they blow up everything that you do wrong. They don't ever see things from your point of view. Like if I was in a family, because I'm not the kind of person, I cannot be brainwashed like that. Not like that, because I understand about mind control. But it's like, to me, it just blows my mind how you could have have someone who's adopted in your household and know that they're suffering. They know, like when the last time I saw my mom, I realized she had to have known that, I remember telling her, I said, you know what? I did remember the last time I saw my mom, I said that my father was gang stalked. Now, I didn't realize that what was going on with my father was connected to me in any way, okay? But I did tell her that I said, Mom, what's going on with me is they're doing, I didn't say they, but I said, what happened is going on with me is what happened to my dad, right? And I looked at her, and she was just looking out the window, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I said, well, I guess you're never going to see me again. So I left, and I never saw her again. That was like, last time I saw my mom. So I don't know. To me, you have to be, kind of seriously brainwashed to participate in something like that. You know what I mean? I am angry at all the participants in it because I wonder, what were you thinking? What is wrong with you? How could you do that? How could you do that? How could you carry out something so sick and so bizarre? Taking out somebody's employment, and then you go around and like block their social media. That to me was an attempt to kill me, period. There is no other explanation for it. But anyway, spending the holidays alone is not always tragic. I was upset because, I wanted to start planning on what I'm going to do. I think my lease is up in February or something like that. Yeah, February. And, it's like I need to make decisions like right away. And so, it's hard because I'm always suffering for their fuck ups, so I was upset. But spending the holidays by myself and being by myself is not a big deal. Like I'm not somebody who has to be around people all the time, especially since I have such high standards and I've been betrayed so many times. I've been abused so many times. I've been mistreated so many times and I've been around fake people warped people all my life, brainwashed people all my life. I'm very glad to keep my distance. I don't need to deal with that anymore. So I have very high standards. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I did get some intuitive messages that I did want to share with you guys earlier. Basically, I got the same message about, there is no government that's that serious. I need to relax about this. But it's really important that people know that I'm the kind of person, I do respect things that are considered to be like top secret. Obviously, me being a clone is out in the open. If I'm talking about it on YouTube, and I don't feel as though I'm doing anything wrong, I believe that it's okay for me to talk about being a clone, but I'm not trying to like, you know what I mean? I don't want to say too much because I want to be blameless and everything. But what do you expect a person to do when you find out the root of the problem? It's very shocking. It's extremely shocking, to a person. You can't keep that to yourself. It's a lot. Also, I do realize now that my family knew since since childhood that I was adopted. Obviously, okay, that was a big hush hush secret. Um, and when I think about it, like I said, that's what first thing that comes to my mind. Like my siblings knew that the fear, the terror, the trauma that I was going through, and then my sister Lisa was going to turn around and start yelling in my face, knowing I had a valid reason. I have every right to worry about, am I going to be stable? What do I need to do? How am I going to take care of myself? Oh, maybe they think that that's okay. Or maybe she knew that other people were handling, or she was handling it herself, or whatever. But you're dealing with my life. You know what I mean? I would never, ever do something like that to another human being. And this is why I hate this experiment so much, and it's got like Joseph Mengele shit written all over it. The very fact that, it's okay for people, and don't get me wrong, I understand my father, wanted me there, but that didn't mean that my adopted siblings wanted me there. You know what I mean? I see that in this family dynamic, it almost seems like my relationship with my father was the only thing that I had in my household. Other than that, I mean, my mom sometimes was really cool with me. I know, like my early years in school, I would say like kindergarten, first grade, early elementary school. Okay, it seemed as though me and my mom were getting along. It seemed as though my mom was motherly to me. Okay, I know that when I was like back at Edwards Air Force Base, and then when I was really little, there were times where me and my mom would have confrontations because I think that my mom was very afraid of me. But those little things were like sporadic or whatever. And I do remember the time that she made me drink hot water. Okay, I remember that. But um, um, and then in my high school years, my mom was starting to get kind of weird. I know that this is when the pressure was on and they were like really treating my dad like shit. It's like they were just treating him like shit. And I know that they were trying to say that I was the Antichrist. And this is one of the things that really pisses me off about this, right? Because that's bullshit. Because, like I said, while I was in high school, I was starting to study with Jehovah's Witnesses, which is a Christian denomination, right? It's a Christian denomination. So that's bullshit. So I don't know exactly why they were trying to use that lame excuse, because as far as I knew, when it came to religion, I was in the Christian denomination. That is Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, I wasn't a member, but that was what I was studying for, and I wasn't allowed to change, choose my own religion until I was like 17 years old. But still, I was in like the Abrahamic faith. I was in, or associated, or at least adhering to, or accepting those ideas at that age, right? So I know that that was bullshit. And when you're dealing with racism, anytime you do something that um, makes them feel like they want to attack, that's when they'll attack. Like I know if like when I would do my job well, I remember getting into confrontations with this one girl because she was jealous, and they will start trying to get you fired. Seriously, this is the kind of shit that they do. So I don't know. I think it's bullshit what happened to my father. It makes me very angry, but I have to let that go. I think my father's at peace. I do believe his spirit is very content because I know that people understand what really went on. Also, I got a message about my brother, my ex-brother, my family member. And this comes to my mind like so many times. It's like, do not pray for his soul. Like, don't pray for him. He was an unrepentant person in my mind. Like, I believe that I believe that he was wicked, basically, and I don't know exactly if he was, I don't know, like when it comes to my brother and my dad, I know that my dad, felt funny about my brother when he was first born, okay? And I know they used to go hunting and they used to go fishing and stuff like that, but I do remember they were in a lot of arguments. And I think that my brother just maybe was too influenced maybe by the people, I guess the people who were following me or targeting me, or maybe I don't know if it was the alphas or somebody who was in a position of authority must have swayed my brother to act against my father, or somehow speak against him. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Maybe it's because they convinced my brother that my father was the Antichrist or something like that. You know what I mean? Something, I don't know why it seems as though my brother did something to disrespect my father's name in some way. I don't know. But anyway, and then also causing problems for me. So I'm not going to pray for his soul. Also, a lot of people who are talking about this issue, they're kind of, they feel like it's really mysterious and kind of eye-opening and speechless, like they're blown away by it, because I think they've never experienced things that are relating to the supernatural or whatever. And yeah, it is kind of weird. Really, it is weird when you think about it. But I'm glad that I'm glad I'm a psychic type person. I'm glad that I'm very intuitive. I'm glad that I meditate a lot and I'm open myself to these messages, because otherwise I would be left in the dark. There's so many people who have no idea who is targeting them. And I will tell you, for sick people who like targeting people, who think it's okay to have covert operations on people, if you don't realize what you're doing, but the thing is, you tell them how you feel. You use words with power that are very truthful and honest and direct. You're telling them, hey, I'm traumatized. That does not stop them from calling you into a fucked up job interview. That does not stop them from like talking about your shit at work and bullying you and that little, they're just evil, wicked people. I cannot tell you. So anyway, let's see. Oh, okay. So, most people think that my videos are good, and I do appreciate that. The thing is like, I want to experiment with different ways of producing videos. Okay. But like I said, I try to make plans for myself. Okay. I try to make plans for myself, and it's always been my goal to experiment with other programs. I have a very old computer, right? It's time for me to update things. And I can't do anything. I feel like I'm always at the mercy of their bullshit. It's not right and it's not fair. You know what I mean? Which I've complained several times. And like if somebody was to say, hey, stop complaining, blah, 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 I have every right to complain. There's no way in the world somebody can say, Marie, you're out of line. Don't tell me I'm out of line. Because there's no way in the world, It's like, these people literally terrorize me. You know what I mean? So I think what terrorized me the most is when I started realizing that my family was behind this. Like, it literally freaked me out. Like, that's one of the reasons why I came back to Bakersfield, because I left in 2014 because the targeting. I had worked at a prosthetic place, and I felt like I literally felt like I was being under surveillance all the time, and I felt really uncomfortable about it, and I was tired of, just the weird feeling that I was always getting from the people, right? So I moved to Lancaster and moved in with my mom for a very short period of time. I got there in like the late part of December, and I stayed there till like maybe March, somewhere around there. And, I would wake up in the morning while I was there, and I almost felt like my mom was like aware of my feelings. I wasn't really going into I never discussed any of my work issues problems with anyone in my family. I never did, because I knew when I was in grade school, every time I expressed that there was a problem going on at school for whatever reason, my mom's answer would be, "Oh, buck up, blah 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 blah," or something stupid like that. So I knew that these people were never going to be supportive. I always took responsibility for my own problems, but something that my sister did, my Lisa did, when I was talking to her, she called me on the phone and started pretending that she was crying. Okay, it was so fake, and I knew it was something that she was fake. She's like, "I don't know what's going on, Maria, but I'm gonna help you." Blah 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 blah, and it was so fake, and I just realized that my family's weird, and I started getting scared, and it felt like the fact that they were lying to me about something that was so important. This is how I live. This is how I make a living. This is the way. Well, it used to be a way. I really care less about going back to work, but at the time I was just doing like accounting, bookkeeping work or whatever. But I was like devastated, and because I have such a strong mind, it felt as though shards of glass was going into my brain, because it hurt so much, because this was supposed to be my sister, and this is how I survive. Why do you minimize my feeling? You know what I mean? They literally dehumanize you. Like, they don't care that you have to think about what's going to happen to you when you get old. They don't care if you're worried about that. Doesn't matter to them. You know what I mean? And this is why I hate these people, because I'm like saying, could you please stop doing this? Could you please? They could not stop doing it. They enjoyed the torment. They endured the torture. And knowing that your family did that to you, that's crazy. That's very crazy. And it was too much for me. Anyway, let me see. Oh, yeah. This is another one. That there are no obstacles to reconnect to people that I used to know if I want to. Like I said, there's certain people that I would be open to talking to, and there's certain people that's just like absolutely not. Like, if I was out shopping and I saw somebody, if they said hi, I don't know how that would work. Really, I don't. It's just like, I'm going to say that I think if they want to say hi to me, then say hi to me. But if I kind of like say hi and just kind of start walking off, that's an indication I don't want to. There are certain people that I think they know for sure don't ever fucking approach me. Don't fucking ever approach me. Don't ever let me fucking see your face. Period. Period. And I've already mentioned those individuals, and they know who they are. So, that is what it is. But no, there's certain people, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to excuse any of the participation. It's hard for me to excuse it, because I don't see how in the world you could not see how severe and how serious this issue was. Like, if you couldn't see that this was a racist attack on an individual, something's wrong with you. Okay? If you can't, and I've already talked about like the laws, of this country, and how religious freedoms are protected. And I was going on about this for like 1,300 videos. After all of that, and you still didn't leave me alone, it's too much. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think that we're some innocent bystanders, like people who really weren't talking about it on social media, but kind of knew about it, but they didn't say anything or whatever. I don't know. But, like I said, there's certain people that I do know and remember and suspect. I'm going to say I suspect them of being clones, and I'm pretty damn sure I'm right. And I had mentioned before, yeah, I definitely do want to talk to them again, So if I reach out to them, I hope they reach out to me. But I'm not in the right mood to reach out to anybody. I'm not in the mood to be social right now. I only care about getting to the next step, and that's it. I don't care about anything else. There is nothing else I care about. I care about making money, being able to survive. That's all I care about. Nothing else. I don't care who, what, when, who wants to meet me, who wants to talk. I don't care. Oh, and the other thing that's a priority of mine, which I don't have any control over, is the issue of a lot of people want this issue about the Prince Alamalehu thing being released to the public. And like I said, about a week ago, I made a video about having somebody contact me through email, which my information, my email, I believe, is in my About section, right? About interviewing me or talking about this to release to the public. I specifically said, let's not wait very long to do this. Okay. And that's the way it is. I mean, because these people are so narcissistic. They work and operate on their own time. They don't care, and they dehumanize you, and they're completely insensitive to your feelings. They dehumanize you. It's not for them to say, well, you know what, Maria, she's okay. She has like $400 from her last check. She can. Don't assume what it is I need. This is what I fucking hate about these people. They have no right to decide what I have or what I don't have or what. This is what angers me so much about these people. Like, they feel as though I'm supposed to sit here and wait on their timetable. Like, I don't have the things I need to take care of. You know what I mean? Okay, that's not why I got on this video tonight. The video really was supposed to be about, that's why scripts are important. But the video was actually supposed to be about being alone for the holidays, okay? The last intuitive message that I got is like there's a lot of people who want me to address the racial issue, and I think I've addressed it enough. I've addressed it enough. You know what I mean? I think we've always had racial problems in this country. I don't think that's ever going to stop. What I mean by that is that, this is hell. Okay? It is hell. Okay? And there's always going to be people who feel inadequate in some way. They're always going to attack. They're always going to lash out. Whether that's going to be something based on, okay, let's just say, for example, race, okay? Like, in this case, everybody knows that I have no participation in it. Like, nobody can say that I stirred up any racial issues, because I didn't, okay? And I think this is why some people want me to address the issue, because they want to prove a point about how racism really works and how people deny that there's racism. Okay, I would prefer to move on from this. I really do. Considering the fact that we live in hell. Okay, considering the fact that we live in hell, I'm not saying that you have to confront it when it happens to you. Just the other night, I had mentioned like what people should do if they're dealing with racism. You should cut these people off. You shouldn't let them sit here and go on and on and on and on trying to compete with you and whatever. You need to address it to them right away. Let them know their behavior is racist. Period. Confront them and walk away and cut their asses off. If somebody is bothering you in the workplace, okay, you can't expect HR, because HR ain't shit. They never have been. Okay, HR is always going to protect the company, always, okay? But, if somebody says something stupid to you, say, you know what, I understand that you don't like me, and that's okay, okay? But we do have to work together. So if you need something, make sure that we only talk about things that are relating to work. Don't expect me to associate with you on any other level, because I'm not going to. Just be upfront about it. And you don't have to mention race. Just say, I know I can tell that you have an issue with me. Let's just keep this business. And then you can tell your boss, she said a couple of things, or he said a couple of things, and this is what I said. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Just, because I guarantee you're going to deal with racism in the workplace. That's not going to go anywhere. I think what racism is really about power. It's always been about power. And the funny thing is, I've never been obsessed with power. I don't care about it, because I understand that certain people are going to get certain things in this world and certain people are not. It is just that simple. It seems like it's kind of wired in the system that way, and it's wrong, but it is that way. So I'm not going to sit here and try to fight for something. And another thing, I don't think that being in certain positions of power, to me, really fit well with my spiritual views. Okay. There's nothing wrong with people being in politics, because you have to have that. Okay. But I'm not interested in controlling people. I'm not interested in, controlling and bullying other people. You know what I mean? People who want that sort of power, racism to me is based on something very distorted and wicked. They want something. You know what I mean? And they want to bully you and they want to like terrorize you and whatever. I'm not interested in being anything like these people. I don't look at the people who abused me and think, I've never thought that, hey, I want to be like you, or I don't think that way. You know what I mean? But they are always feeling threatened by it. And there's an insecurity there at the, and deeply, I mean, in the deep inside of them, there's like some sort of insecurity. But that's not your fucking problem. You know what I mean? It's not your fucking problem, so just move on with it. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up this video. It's getting late. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I hope you guys did have a good Christmas, you know. My Christmas wasn't so bad. I enjoyed watching those videos. I enjoyed the cartoons. You know, I think it's really all about taking care of your emotional needs. You know what I mean? Because I will guarantee you, no one else gives a shit about them. That's just the way it is. Wrapping this one up. Take care. Bye.